This week's Parsha, Parshas Haazinu. This is the song that we've been promised for the past few weeks, that we will be having to learn it, to remember it. So I wanted to focus on one interesting point, which is made at the very beginning of the song. So, which is Haazinu Hashemayim va'ata breira v'sishma haaretz imrei fi. Right? So, pay attention. Heaven, I'm going to speak. And listen, O land, I'm going to say something. What's the first thing we're going to say? Yarov kematar lichi. So that the things that I'm saying to you shall be absorbed like rain. And then this has another poetic correlation immediately next to it. Tizal katal imrasi, that it should kind of drip down like dew. Right, just like certain types of other things raining on grasses and certain types of other rain dropping on grass. So the idea is that the reason why this speech is going to be so well received is that it comes down like these four types of waters. We have lots of types of water being described over here, and we're talking about different types of absorption. So Rashi says that when I said that this is the testimony that we're going to be giving, okay? What we're testifying to is that the Torah is going to be given to the people of Israel, and it's going to be, and this is again quoting Rashi, it's going to be received very well because of the fact that it's being delivered in this manner, okay? So Torah that I'm giving to you, which is referred to the likhi, right? The lekach tov nasati lachem, right? We use that a few times, that word lekach. So I wanted to take a little review of these words to find out how the absorption works exactly. We have four types of it over here. So the commentators are a little bit confused about these different words. So the first was Ya'aref Kamatar Lichi. All right, so we're saying the Torah, the lekach. All right, meaning Hashem saying my Torah is going to be, or Moshe referring to what he's giving over his discourse, is going to have a certain type of absorption. So matar is a form of rain. So it's going to have ayin reish pei is the way in which it's being absorbed. So Rashi explains that this form of absorption is referring to something similar to the book of Psalms. He brings a comparison there in Tehillim, in Samachei 65, is verse number 12. It says Yer afun dashen. All right, so the rain comes down in a way in which it will fatten up the food that it drips on. And he also points out that this word yarfu is used with dew as well. So the idea is that the rain will fall in such a way in which it will make the things into which it is absorbed plump. It will make them more full. Okay? Which is funny because we're going to talk about dew here in a second. So Rashi then goes back now. Well, okay, so Yaroif is referring to fattening something up with the rain. What about, I just said the dew, right? Tizal. What's the lashon of zal? Right? Tizal. Okay, so tal, we know that word definitely means dew. So because everyone likes the dew, right? Just like everybody loves cake, everybody likes dew. Why? So he says because there are times when people are kind of annoyed by rain. Oh, it's raining, I don't want to be outside. But everyone likes the dew. Okay? No one seems to dislike that. And he says that people, and he's quoting the Sifri over here, that it's the same way in which a person would be praiseworthy of wine, which is that he says that the wine barrel into which he puts the wines after being pressed are full of wine. So he's trying to demonstrate that that's how you will feel. You'll feel somewhat happy and satiated by knowing that everything is well received. Okay? So let's go on with the next comparison over here. Kisi'irim ale desha, right? It's like kisi'irim. What are si'irim? Okay, so this is pronounced mila el, and there's no yud in between the resh and the mem. Okay, so he says it's actually pretty powerful. He says the lashon is se'ara. Okay, and he says that's what the Targum says. The Aramaic translation it says it's a powerful wind. Okay, and in here it's written with a shin, but the pronunciation mark is to the left side, so it's a sin. So he compares it to se'ara, which is with a samech. Okay, and that pasuk is found in the book of Tehillim. It's in 148:8. Okay, it's like winds that bring the rain. So it's a bit of a storm. So how are the winds doing in this case? That makes it something that would be benefit. So what happens is that the little bit of wind provides a little bit of resistance. So the stuff that's growing is a little bit more resilient and makes you stronger. Okay, so the words of Torah, by hearing a little bit of Musar, a little bit of moral rebuke, will make you stronger. It'll improve you. It'll toughen you up with hearing it. Okay, and the last thing is Revivim ale Esev. He says that what are revivim? These are drippity drops of rain, right? So the matter we're talking about, so it's like little tiny drops. Okay, so why is it called revivim? So he says, Rashi says, I think it's called that because it comes down like a little arrow. That's what a reviv is. Okay, because he points out that someone who is an expert with the bow, he calls him a rove kashes. Right, this is in Parshas in 21. In the 21 and the chapter 21 and the verses 20, I should say. And that is the idea of it comes on like a fast rain. So it goes right down into the dirt. Okay, and so what do these rains promote? So they promote two things. You have Desha and Esev. So Rashi says, what's Desha? So it means herbage. Okay? And he's referring to the same thing that we would call an herb in English. Okay? So the whole ground is covered with some types of vegetation. So that's how the stronger rains come. And then the Esev is another type, but it's single stalk. Okay, it's not like a big carpet of stuff. It grows by itself. So this is something that Rashi talked about originally in Sefer Parshas, right in the very first chapter there, on line 11. So he brings this comparison up. So why am I talking about the rain and the wind and all these other things? Like why would we care so much about that? So the idea is that's one thing to deliver a message, and I'm just telling you to do it. If I tell you to do it and I hold it over your head that I have you under my control, then it's going to feel a little bit like I'm not really personally invested in following through on this. And the whole idea we've been building up this entire time is that while we agreed to this, we have to want to do this. So in the same way in which vegetation responds to the rains, the different forms of rain, the different forms of rain, the grasses, they need it, just like we need Torah to survive. But our own growth comes from the fact that we receive the item and it becomes a part of us. Our growth comes through receiving Torah. So when we sit and we learn it, when Moshe Rabbeinu is using the example of that you should absorb my learning, the way that different forms of rain go into different types of herbage and different types of plants, that's how Torah should be. You're going to receive Torah in the way you receive certain types of rain. Sometimes it comes at you in a regular stream of rain. Sometimes it comes in a way that everybody loves it, like dew, right? Torah is so good, everybody should love this. Sometimes it comes at you hard and fast, but it makes you stronger, just like the rain. And sometimes it just comes straight down at you, and you're just responding to it. So people in that way, they just kind of grow up. And what I thought would be an interesting comparison is that people often like to quote about the Arba Minim of Sukkot. The four species that are there are similar into the way as you have these four types of rain and four types of absorption described here in this pasuk. So they always talk about how the four species, they like to quote the Ari who says this word, that the four species represent the four types of people who show up in the Jewish world. So you have the lulav. Lulav itself, it doesn't have any scent to it, but it produces a fruit, right? Not the actual stem itself, but the plant in which the lulav grows is a date palm. It grows grapes. Tasty, it's sweet. So what's that? So sweet means people, they do mitzvahs. They do things, right? And some people, they're like the esrog. Not there's a good smell and there's a good taste. They do a lot of mitzvahs and they do good deeds. Some people, they just do good deeds, right? But they're not really good at the performance of the mitzvahs. They're gonna have a smell, but they don't have. There's no flavor, like the myrtle, right? The hadassim. They say, oh, it smells amazing, and you can save those leaves even after Sukkot is over and use them for Havdalah, for Besamim. A great smell, right? So you feel from them, you benefit from it because it leaves you up with good deeds. And then there's some people who are just there. They don't really do much with the mitzvahs. They don't do much with the good deeds. Like the Arava, they're just there. There's also not a lot of requirements. They just have to be there. They just kind of show up. But the idea is that all of them are kind of brought together, and they're all brought together in the celebration of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the Torah and of being together. And the Sukkot holiday not only commemorates the fact that we exited from Egypt through an exodus, but that we also left the spiritual impurity of Egypt, and that these things symbolize our closeness with Hashem. And as the Torah likes to quote, that the Sukkah represents the Anani HaKavod, the presence of Hashem. And every time we did something that brought us the essence of Hashem, always represented with clouds, the clouds of glory as we translate them. So every time we did something that brought them in, we would do a Sukkot type holiday. So every time we built the Beis HaMikdash, a couple times of that, we commemorated it and celebrated it just like Sukkot. The idea is to bring everybody together. So when we talk about receiving Torah, that every person needs to receive it, we always like to often quote Pasuk, Chinuch Lanar Al Pi Darko. It's a verse from Mishlei, which basically says each people receive learning differently, and in some ways that's the idea of giving over this song. People hear songs differently. The music goes differently. Some people love it. Some people, it's the best they've ever heard. Some people listen to it, and some people they just acknowledge it. But at any rate, you want to make sure that you have everybody growing and benefiting from this. That some people will have different responses to it, but there should be a place to all of them. At the very least, they should value it. Just like we're saying that Torah should be like the rain. Everyone knows you need the rain. Maybe you don't like the way the rain is coming. Maybe it doesn't resonate with you. But you need to find a place for it because it helps you grow. And so we ask that this Shabbos, think of ways after Yom Kippur that you yourself can personally grow through Torah and learning Torah. Find things that interest you. There's so many different topics. Find ways in which you can grow and learn through Torah. Good Shabbos.